Here we are, we have now unraveled the provisional cast on. Our stitches are back on the needle and we have folded the headband in half. The outside is the front side, the ferrule side, and the inside is the ribbing. Because the ribbed side was the last one that I have worked, our live yarn is coming out from the back, which is exactly what we want. And this front side, the ferrule panel, is now back onto the needle. So I've got the same size needles here, two different pairs of circulars, and I have got my other end with some room to work with a longer cable that I used for the magic loop. These two needles are parallel with each other and they're facing the right. This is how we're gonna work a bind off. And for this particular pattern, we're gonna use a purl bind off because that is going to create a nice folding edge on this side. Very similar to the one on the bottom where we have created a purl row to fold our fabric by. Now, another thing that is very important with a pattern like this is that our bind off should be fairly stretchy because this is a headband and it's gonna have to stretch sidewise. If it's too tight, it's gonna cut into our forehead and that wouldn't be too comfortable. So today I'm going to show you a version of the 3-needle bind off that is not only purl but is also stretchy. So it combines a 3-needle bind off purl-wise with Jenny's stretchy bind off purl-wise. It's super easy to do. It just requires one extra little step while doing the bind off, which is a V yarn over, and that's gonna give us enough stretch to make the stretchiness of the both sides pretty much equal. Let's show you how it works. I'm going to bring this working yarn to the front under my both needles as if to purl, and then we are going to work into these stitches purl-wise. Now you can do it one of two ways. Either you can lift off this first stitch and put it over to your other needle like so, and then purl these two stitches together, and then just pull it off this front needle. Or you can do these two steps without lifting it off and just doing it at the same time by lining up these two stitches and then going into the first one, going into the next one, purl through both of these stitches and pull them off together. This is how I like to do it, simply because I'm lazy and I like to get things done quicker, and if I can choose between two steps or one step, I will always choose one step. Right, but before we purl the second stitch, because obviously for a bind off, what you're gonna need to do is work a stitch, work another stitch, and then pass your first stitch over the second stitch to decrease at the same time as binding off. But for this particular stretchy bind off, there is another step here which is very important, and that is a yarn over. So you're gonna do a yarn over here after working your first stitch, and after the yarn over, you are going to work your second purl two together, purl one of the back and one of the front together, gently pulling off both of these stitches off your working needles. Here we are, now we've got a stitch that we purled together from the two needles. We've got a yarn over, and we also have another stitch that we purled together from our live needle. And now comes the actual bind off part. For this, I'm only using my front needle. We're just ignoring the back needle. And what we're gonna do here is we are going to pass the yarn over our stitch, and after that we are going to pass the purl stitch over our stitch until we end up with just one stitch on our needle, and then we will bring our working yarn back to the front again. We do another yarn over and we proceed to purl one from the back and one from the front together like so. We pull these stitches gently and carefully off our working needles, one after the other. And then we once again have a purl stitch, a yarn over, and another purl stitch. We will then pass the yarn over the first stitch, and pass the back stitch over the front stitch. Once again, we have bound off another stitch. We do another yarn over, bring the yarn to the front, and proceed to purl the next one together from the back needle and from the front needle. So this bind off is going to get a little bit stretchier due to that extra little step we do, which is that yarn over that we create. It is so quick, you won't even notice the difference between doing a normal purlwise bind off or this stretchy one. It's so quick, so simple. It's gonna create a really nice edge and a lovely fold. I will come back a bit later, so I'm just gonna carry on working. I'm gonna probably fast forward it here for a while, and I will show you once I got to the end of this row how lovely it will look once it's bound off, and what a nice and neat edge it creates. And I will also show you the stretch of it and how it's not gonna be tight at all when you're wearing it on your head. Oops, I almost lost a stitch there. So 1 and 2, purl these together, pull them off the needles without losing any more stitches, pass over the yarn over, pass over the second stitch. All good. This is it. It's really not difficult at all. Creates a stretchy, neat purl edge, and at the same step it will bind the ribbing and the fair eye all together. Lovely, neat, no sewing method. Here we are, creating this lovely edging. I've gotten around the circumference of the headband, and I've got just a few more stitches left, so I'm just starting this again to show you how to finish it off. So just like before, I do a yarn over and then I purl 2 stitches together, pull them off, and I lose a stitch here. Too focused on the back needle and I'm losing my stitches from the front. So then I pop the yarn over my first stitch, and finally the previous stitch. I've got to do this just 2 more times. And that will be the 3 needle stretchy purl bind off completely done. I think I just went out of the picture screen there for a second. Here we go, and all I need to do now is 1 more yarn over, purl the last 2 stitches together, and just do the last one, and this is it. I am going to just pull this out slightly. It's a very fuzzy yarn, so it's not slippery at all. I'm going to just cut my end and then I'll pull this through. I don't need all the needles and cables anymore. So here we are. We have got a fair isle headband. I'm going to have to just weave in this one end, which I'm gonna do in a second.